Welcome back to the ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today we're diving deep into the latest Quartermaine family chaos. And this time, Tracy Quartermaine may be forced to cut short her much-needed French escape. Trouble is brewing in Port Charles once again, and it's about to pull Tracy right back into the storm she thought she'd left behind. Tracy Quartermaine's interrupted escape. After the roller coaster surrounding Monica Quartermaine's will and the endless squabbles over the family estate, Tracy decided she deserved a break. And who could blame her? She jetted off to France, likely imagining long days at a luxury spa, champagne at sunset, and not a single family crisis in sight. But anyone who knows Tracy knows that peace never lasts long when the Quartermaines are involved. Now, new reports from Port Charles suggests that her serene French retreat may be over sooner than expected. A serious emergency involving Ned Quartermaine is about to pull Tracy home. And once she hears the full story, all that pent-up Quartermaine fury will come roaring back. Cain crosses the line. The spark that sets this fire ablaze comes from none other than Cain. In the November episode of General Hospital, Drew and Ned had yet another heated argument, one that took a dark and shocking turn. When Ned appeared to be in medical distress, Drew dismissed it, assuming Ned was faking a heart attack just to manipulate him. To Drew, it was classic Quartermaine theater. But the problem is Ned wasn't faking this time. His pain was real. His collapse wasn't an act. And Drew, in his anger and arrogance, simply walked away. Fans haven't forgotten that Tracy once infamously refused to give Edward Quartermaine his pills after he pretended to have a heart attack to test her loyalty decades ago. The irony isn't lost on anyone. History has a cruel way of repeating itself in this family. But where Tracy eventually showed compassion, Drew showed none. A family betrayal remembered. When Tracy learns that Drew turned his back on Ned during what could have been a life-threatening episode, it's going to hit her like a punch to the gut. Let's not forget Tracy was the one who saved Drew's life once upon a time. When Drew was shot, Tracy didn't hesitate. She called, stayed calm, and kept him alive until help arrived. That moment showed Tracy's hidden heart, the one she so often covers with sarcasm and bravado. So imagine her reaction when she finds out that the man she once saved abandoned her son in his moment of need. Tracy's rage won't just be emotional, it will be personal. She'll see Drew's actions as an act of betrayal against the Quartermaine name, a sign of disloyalty that cannot and will not go unpunished. Tracy's inevitable return. Picture this. Tracy in her French suite, surrounded by luxury, phone in hand, as she learns about Ned's collapse. Her expression shifts from disbelief to outrage. The next flight from Paris to Port Charles can't come soon enough. When she returns, she won't be the spereshed socialite who left. She'll be a woman on a mission. Cold, sharp, and ready to wage war. Cain has officially made himself her next target. The clash to come. The coming confrontation between Tracy and Drew promises to be one of General Hospital's most explosive quarter showdowns in years. Tracy doesn't do half measures, and when she sets her sights on revenge, there's always a plan brewing beneath that calm, calculating exterior. Tracy may first hit Drew with verbal fire, reminding him exactly who he's dealing with. Expect her to dig deep, pulling out every ounce of Quartermaine guilt and turning it into a weapon. She'll remind him of the night she saved his life, likely with a scathing line like, "I should have let fate handle you that night. It would have saved us all this mess." From there, things could get even uglier. Tracy's influence in Port Charles runs deep. Whether it's in the boardroom at ELQ, the gossip channels, or the hospital Carters, she has allies everywhere. If she decides Drew needs to pay, professionally, socially, or even legally, she'll make it happen. Drew's downward spiral. Drew's behavior lately has raised eyebrows all over town. Once seen as a level-headed man who valued loyalty and integrity, he's been slipping further and further into morally gray territory. Some fans think the scars from his time in Pentonville and his resentment toward the Quartermaine family have hardened him. Others argue that Drew's ego is finally catching up to him. Either way, this latest incident paints him in an unforgiving light, turning his back on a man in medical distress, especially one tied to his own family through ELQ, is indefensible. And Tracy, who has always believed in holding people accountable, will not let it slide. The Quartermaine legacy on the line. Beyond the personal feud, the situation could have ripple effects throughout the Quarter dynasty. ELQ is once again in a fragile state, with tensions high and trust running low. Ned's health crisis, Andrew's cruel dismissal could reignite boardroom wars, with Tracy using the scandal to reclaim her influence and remind everyone that she's still the matriarch who pulls the strings. Expect Tracy to use this as a rallying cry, not just for vengeance, but for control. With Ned incapacitated and Drew on the defensive, she might even seize the opportunity to re-establish the Quartermaine hierarchy the way she sees fit. What happens next? So, what's next for this fiery feud? It's safe to say that Drew won't get off easy. Tracy Quartermaine is not a woman you want as an enemy. She's strategic, ruthless, and fiercely protective of her family, especially when someone crosses the line. Once Ned recovers, he may have his own words for Drew, but the real danger will come from Tracy's retaliation. Whether it's emotional warfare or a calculated takedown, Tracy will make sure Drew feels every ounce of guilt and regret he deserves. The courts have always thrived on drama, deception, and power plays. But this latest twist might be one of the most personal betrayals yet. Tracy's impending return from France sets the stage for an all-out war between two strong personalities who both believe they're in the right. As fans know, General Hospital never does subtle when it comes to Quartermaine drama. And this storyline is shaping up to be a classic, full of revenge, remorse, and the kind of high-stakes family tension that has defined the show for decades. So fasten your seatbelts, GH fans. Tracy Quartermaine is coming home, and she's not bringing souvenirs, she's bringing justice. Next, we're unpacking a mystery that's about to explode wide open. And it all centers on Willow Tate. There's growing buzz that Willow may have made a shocking slip-up that exposes far more than she ever intended. Fans are asking, did Willow just reveal that she's the one who shot Cain? Buckle up. Because this latest twist could change everything in Port Charles. A prison visit with consequences. In the November episode of General Hospital, Willow sat down for a tense prison meeting with Harrison Chase and Alexis Davis. On the surface, it looked like a strategy session, a calm discussion about clearing her name. But underneath that calm exterior, emotions were running hot. Chase, ever the determined detective, explained how he was working to dismantle Michael Carantho's alibi. According to Michael, he'd spent the entire night with Justinda Bracken, only to be interrupted by a late-night call from Brook Lynn and Quartermaine about Waya's bad dream. That story sounded airtight until Willow opened her mouth. But that can't be true because Michael was at Drew's, Willow declared without hesitation. It wasn't just what she said that raised eyebrows. It was how she said it. There was no doubt, no second guessing. No, I think it was absolute certainty. And that confidence may be her undoing. The slip-up that could change everything. Willow's spontaneous outburst caught everyone off guard. Chase and Alexis exchanged uneasy glances, realizing she might have revealed something she shouldn't know. How could Willow be so sure of Michael's whereabouts? Unless she was there herself. That's the question that's now echoing through every conversation about the shooting. Fans and characters alike are asking, did Willow just implicate herself without realizing it? It's entirely possible that Willow wasn't trying to help Michael at all. She was trying to protect herself. In her rush to defend her narrative, she may have exposed the truth she's been desperately trying to hide. Will warp determination. Throughout this ordeal, Willow has clung to the idea that Michael is fraying her. She's painted him as cold, manipulative, and vengeful. Someone willing to destroy her to save himself. But the more she insists on that story, the less convincing it sounds. Her tone, her body language, even her choice of words, all suggest that there's something deeper going on. When she said Michael was at Drew's, it wasn't a slip of tongue. It was the kind of reflex that comes from memory. And if that's true, the implications are devastating. Was Willow at Drew's house the night of the shooting? Did she see Michael's car? Or was she the one holding the gun? What was Willow doing that night? Let's rewind. The night of Cain's shooting was chaotic. Tempers flared. Secrets were boiling over, and alliances were shifting. Drew had been under enormous pressure trying to navigate the tangled web of Elk, Carly's business troubles, and Michael's manipulations. If Willow did show up at Drew's, what was her motive? There are a few possibilities that make sense. Confrontation gone wrong. Maybe Willow wanted to confront Drew about something. Perhaps about Michael or about a secret Drew had been keeping. An argument could have spiraled out of control. Protective Panic. Willow might have gone to Drew's place to protect someone, Michael, Carly, or even herself, and things turned violent in the heat of the moment. An accidental shooting. Perhaps she didn't intend to shoot Drew at all. Maybe she panicked, fired in fear, and fled the scene before realizing the gravity of what she'd done. Any of these explanations could fit with her increasingly frantic behavior since her arrest. The psychological unraveling. Willow's composure is starting to crack. Every time she insists she's innocent, her words sound more like a plea than a defense. And for someone who spent so long trying to appear calm and rational, that loss of control speaks volumes. Her visit with Chase and Alexis might not have been about strategy at all. It could have been about control. Her attempt to steer the narrative before the walls closing. But as fans of General Hospital know, truth has a way of surfacing, no matter how deeply it's buried. If Willow really is the shooter, then this is the first sign that her carefully constructed mask is slipping. The Michael factor. It's no secret that Michael Corinthos has been one of the most polarizing figures in this story line. His alibi, his attitude, and his tense dynamic with Willow have all fueled speculation. But maybe that's exactly what Willow wants, for everyone to keep looking at Michael while she quietly hides in plain sight. It's almost poetic in a twisted way. Willow accusing Michael of framing her could itself be the ultimate frame job. If she truly believes the best defense is a strong offense, then blaming Michael could have been her plan all along. Still, Chase's instincts are kicking in. He's seen enough inconsistencies to realize something doesn't add up. And Alexis, sharp as ever, won't let this kind of slip go unnoticed. Their joint investigation could be the key to unraveling everything Willow's been trying to protect. The big reveal looming. Imagine the tension if Willow does get acquitted, if she walks free, smiling with relief, while Michael remains under suspicion. The courtroom cheers, Alexis congratulates her, and Chase offers a cautious smile. But in the shadows, the truth simmers. Then, weeks later, the big twist drops. Maybe it's a flashback. Maybe it's a recovered memory. Maybe a piece of evidence surfaces that ties Willow directly to the crime scene. The truth comes crashing down. Willow was the shooter all along. It would be one of General Hospital's most shocking reveals in yours. A slow burn mystery that flips the narrative upside down. The inevitable fallout. If Willow really is guilty, the fallout will be massive. Her relationships with Michael, with Chase, even with her family, will implode. The quiet, kind-hearted nurse everyone thought they knew will be gone, replaced by a woman capable of deception and violence. And let's not forget the ripple effects. Drew will have to face his own trauma, while Michael's reputation, already hanging by a thread, could take another hit. Carly, as always, will be caught in the middle, trying to protect her family while navigating another moral minefield. As for Chase, he'll be forced to confront the painful truth that the woman he once loved has been lying to him from the start. The calm before the storm. Right Now, everything in Port Charles feels like it's teetering on the edge of revelation. Each conversation Willow has, every defensive statement she makes, pulls the noose a little tighter. The more she tries to explain, the deeper she digs herself into suspicion. And, with Chase and Alexis both watching closely, it's only a matter of time before someone connects the dots. Willow. Tate's slip-up may have seemed minor at first. Just a quick correction during a tense conversation, but in the world of General Hospital, every word matters and every truth has a price. Whether she's an innocent woman fighting to clear her name or a guilty soul losing her grip on the lie, one thing is certain, the truth will come out. And when it does, it'll change poor Charles forever. Next, we will learn about the issue that has been setting the soap opera world on fire and creating waves of excitement among devoted fans everywhere. The romance storyline that viewers have been desperately craving might finally be arriving on their screens. And it involves three beloved Port Charles residents in a tangled web of attraction, deception, and potentially devastating consequences that could reshape multiple lives forever. The triangle that changes everything. The triangle in question centers around Michael Corinthos, his sister Christina Davis, and the enigmatic Justinda. 3. Individuals whose lives have become increasingly intertwined in ways that nobody could have predicted just weeks ago. What makes this particular romantic entanglement so captivating is the unexpected chemistry that has been simmering beneath the surface, creating tension that practically crackles through television screens across the nation. Fans have been watching with bated breath as these relationships develop, recognizing that something truly special and potentially explosive is brewing in Port Charles. Michael Corinthos, the eldest son of mob boss Sonny Corinthos and the late Carly, has always been portrayed as the responsible sibling, the one who thinks things through and makes calculated decisions based on logic rather than emotion. His character has evolved significantly over the years, transforming from an angry young man dealing with trauma into a sophisticated businessman who runs the Quartermaine family enterprises with precision and care. However, even the most controlled individuals can find themselves swept up in circumstances beyond their ability to manage, and Michael appears to be heading straight into one of those situations right now. The Christina factor creates complications. Christina Davis, Michael's younger sister, has always been known for her passionate nature and tendency to follow her heart wherever it leads her, regardless of potential consequences or who might get hurt along the way. Throughout her time in Port Charles, Christina has demonstrated a pattern of impulsive decision-making that has led to both beautiful moments and catastrophic failures. And this situation appears poised to test her character in unprecedented ways. Her involvement in this triangle adds layers of complexity that extend far beyond simple romantic rivalry, touching on themes of family, loyalty, self-discovery, and the courage it takes to acknowledge desires that society might not fully understand or accept. The chemistry between Christina and Justinda has not gone unnoticed by the show's dedicated fan base who have Been commenting extensively on social media about the electric connection between these two women. Every glance they share seems loaded with meaning. Every conversation carries an undercurrent of tension that suggests feelings neither of them may be ready to fully acknowledge or explore. Viewers have pointed out specific moments in recent episodes where the attraction between them becomes almost palpable, creating scenes that linger in memory long after the credits roll. This connection represents something fresh and exciting for the show, offering representation and storyline possibilities that could resonate deeply with audiences who have been craving this kind of authentic romantic development. Michael and Justinda's strategic alliance. Meanwhile, the relationship between Michael and Justinda operates on an entirely different frequency, one that lacks the sparks and fireworks that characterize Justinda's interactions with Christina. Michael and Justinda share a more measured intellectual connection built on mutual respect and strategic thinking, rather than raw emotional attraction. Their chemistry exists certainly, but it manifests as comfortable compatibility, rather than the kind of magnetic pull that makes hearts race and palms sweat. This distinction becomes crucial when considering the fake dating arrangement they have allegedly entered into, a scheme designed to serve Michael's interests while potentially offering Justinda benefits of her own. The fake dating scenario reportedly stems from Michael's desperate need to create an alibi for the shooting of Cain, a crime that has placed Michael's entire future in jeopardy and threatened to tear apart everything he has worked so hard to build. By establishing a relationship with Justinda, Michael hopes to create a narrative that law enforcement and the courts will find believable, one that places him far from the scene of the crime and provides reasonable doubt about his involvement. Additionally, this fabricated romance could strengthen his position in the ongoing custody battle over his children, presenting him as a stable individual in a committed relationship, rather than a single man potentially involved in violent criminal activity. The high stakes behind the facade. However, maintaining a fake relationship requires constant vigilance and coordination, demanding that both parties remember their stories and present a united front to the outside world. One slip, one moment of inconsistency, and the entire charade could come crashing down around them, exposing Michael to prosecution and potentially costing him his freedom, his children, and his reputation. The pressure of maintaining this deception creates its own form of intimacy between Michael and Justinda, forcing them to spend significant time together and learn the details of each other's lives in ways that might eventually blur the lines between performance and reality. Justinda's role in this arrangement carries tremendous weight and responsibility as she essentially holds Michael's fate in her hands. Her testimony, her consistency, and her willingness to maintain the facade could mean the difference between Michael walking free or spending years behind bars. This power dynamic adds another layer of complexity to their relationship, creating a situation where gratitude, obligation, and genuine affection might become hopelessly entangled. Some fans have suggested that Justinda harbors real feelings for Michael, appreciating the respect and kindness he shows her in their interactions, qualities that perhaps have been lacking in other relationships throughout her life. Fan theories ignite. Social media. The General Hospital fan community has erupted with speculation and commentary about this developing triangle, taking to social media platforms to share their theories, hopes, and concerns about where the storyline might be heading. 1. Particularly insightful fan observations suggested that Justinda genuinely likes Michael because he treats her with the dignity and respect she deserves, recognizing that he represents a great catch for any potential partner. This comment continued by speculating that perhaps Justinda has been stuck in a pattern of only being with men throughout her personal and professional life, creating a situation where she might never have had the opportunity to explore or acknowledge other possibilities. Another fan offered a more complex psychological analysis, proposing that Justinda might indeed be experiencing those telltale signs of attraction when interacting with Christina. The fireworks, the butterflies, the heightened awareness that signals romantic interest. However, this viewer suggested that Justinda might not yet be ready to identify herself as someone who could be interested in women either because of internalized societal expectations or because she simply lacks the framework to understand what she's experiencing. Furthermore, this fan pointed out that Justinda's sense of loyalty and commitment to her agreement with Michael might prevent her from acting on any feelings she has for Christina, even if those feelings become increasingly difficult to ignore or suppress. The dangerous dance of forbidden attraction. The possibility of Christina and Justinda conducting a secret relationship while Justinda maintains her fake dating arrangement with Michael presents storytelling opportunities rich with dramatic potential, as one enthusiastic fan described it. The show could explore Michael and Justinda struggling to determine what aspects of their relationship are genuine versus what elements exist purely for show, creating confusion and unexpected emotional complications for both of them. Simultaneously, if Christina and Justinda find themselves unable to resist their mutual attraction, they might begin sneaky linking, meeting in secret, sharing stolen moments, and trying desperately to keep their connection hidden from Michael and everyone else in Port Charles. The stakes surrounding such a clandestine relationship could not be higher, as discovery would potentially destroy Michael's carefully constructed alibi and jeopardize everything he's fighting to protect. This creates a situation where Christina must weigh her own needs and desires against the very real possibility of sending her brother to prison and destroying his relationship with his children. For someone who has historically struggled with impulsive decision-making and putting her own wants ahead of family considerations, this represents an ultimate test of character and maturity. Family bonds face ultimate test. One particularly astute fan comment highlighted how this triangle could fundamentally alter the relationship between Michael and Christina in ways that previous conflicts never have. Throughout their lives, Michael has repeatedly forgiven Christina for selfish and impulsive behavior, understanding that she struggled to find her path and accepting her flaws as part of who she is as a sister. However, if Christina were to pursue a relationship with Justinda, knowing the risks to Michael's freedom and family, it would represent a betrayal of unprecedented magnitude. 1. that Michael might find impossible to forgive or forget. This storyline could position the siblings as adversaries in a way they have never experienced before, fighting over the same woman, while Michael's entire future hangs in the balance. The emotional devastation of such a conflict could reverberate throughout the entire Corinthos family, forcing other family members to take sides and creating rifts that might take years to heal, if they ever heal at all. The writers have an opportunity here to explore themes of loyalty, desire, self-interest, and sacrifice in ways that could provide compelling television for months to come. What the future holds as this triangle continues to develop and evolve, viewers find themselves invested in all three characters and uncertain about who they should be rooting for in this complicated situation. Should Justinda choose the safe, respectful partnership that Michael offers, even if it lacks the passion she feels with Christina? Should Christina pursue her heart's desire despite the potential cost to her brother? Should Michael continue down this path of deception, or should he come clean about everything before the situation spirals even further out of control? The beauty of this storyline lies in its moral complexity and the absence of clear right or wrong answers, creating space for viewers to debate, discuss, and disagree about the best path forward. General Hospital has long excelled at crafting romantic triangles that keep audiences engaged and talking. And this particular situation has all the ingredients necessary to become one of the show's most memorable storylines in recent memory. As the relationships deepen and the stakes continue to rise, fans will undoubtedly remain glued to their screens, eager to see how this complicated web of attraction, deception, and family loyalty ultimately resolves.